Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Dennis Johnson, once again with my Health Minutes. Today I'd like to discuss a letter I've received. Dear Dr. Dennis Johnson, I'm worried about what's happening to kids these days. I think it stems from a lack of discipline. What are your thoughts on this? Well, first of all, let me say the human body is a very delicate and beautiful creation. I know this for a fact 'cause I've seen some really big ones, which leads in nicely to discipline and children. Whenever I'm spanking my young, talented son Jacinta in public or at home in private in front of friends and taping it for Funniest Home Videos, I always make sure I'm doing it for the right reason, out of love. You must only ever discipline or hurt your kids out of love. That way, you know that when they start to fear and resent you, it's happening for the best. So, what is the best way to determine if they deserve to be disciplined? Well, I always use gut feeling. Of course, some naysayers, or women as I call them, like us to believe that any smacking of a child could be seen as child abuse, simply because they're jealous of the fact that men can hit harder than they can. I mean, how silly are they? That's the reason many of us have children in the first place. You see, their problem is that they're getting child abuse confused with discipline. Although I do admit that once, what I thought was a simple case of disciplining Jacinta was in fact child abuse. Mind you, it is a bit of a grey area because the Yellow Pages didn't leave a bruise. And before you complain and say a phone book is over the top, I say you only get out of parenting what you're prepared to put into it. Now, you may also have heard of a more extreme group of people who think you should only discipline your child with words at an ordinary volume. Well, how lazy is that? I mean, words can't bruise a child, words can't frighten a child, it's simply not going to work. My medical opinion is that it's perfectly okay to smack your children, and I speak with some authority because my son Jacinta loves it. In fact, he loves being smacked so much that I often black out before he does. So it's just a simple matter of learning how much cruelty you can inflict on a child before the police arrive. Of course, you should never get too enthusiastic with discipline because if your neighbours find out about it, the hippies from child welfare will come along and take your kids away. And you know what that means, don't you? You've got a really well-behaved child that you're never going to see again. What a waste of time. Go to the back of the class. So there you are. Thanks again for listening. And remember, don't believe the nonsense unless you hear it from me directly.